Jen Mall, and welcome to Nurse Connect. I am an RN and a board-certified nurse coach. I believe that connecting with others is essential to living a happy and fulfilled life, and that sharing our stories not only helps us to heal ourselves, but also helps others by inspiring hope and optimism. I am so grateful to share stories of these incredible nurses on their journey, and I encourage you to find a way to share yours too. Thanks for listening in. Hey everyone, we'll jump onto this week's podcast in just a moment. But real quick, if you're a nurse coach or a leader and are interested in developing a hospital-based nurse coaching and wellness program, then I would love for you to join me in my Facebook group, Hospital-Based Nurse Coaching and Wellness Programs. In this group, we share best practices and resources, as well as trainings to help you develop a successful program, which will decrease turnover and burnout, as well as increase employee satisfaction. Of course, we know this leads to decreased serious safety events and improved patient experience. I have got a free mini course that I can send you to get started on this journey. I will drop the link below, and I hope to see you inside the group. Have a great day. Bye. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Nurse Connect podcast. I'm Jen Mall. So happy to have one of my former lovely coaches, Pam Spivey, here with me today. Thanks, Pam, for being on.
The pleasure. Thank you.
Yes, it's been so good to reconnect. It's been a while, and we were just kind of reflecting how we met at a nursing conference, and you had a workshop that I went to, and I just remember feeling so connected to you. And I came to your table afterwards, and I bought your book, and you just hugged me. We started crying, or I was crying at least, and I realized I really needed support. And you were my first coach and a nurse, and it really, this is going back to 2019. So that was kind of the journey when I started to realize that I didn't like where I was and I needed help. And also I had a lot more to offer through my journey too. So just super special to have you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And look at us now. I'm talking with you on your podcast. And it's just, it just fills me with joy, I must say.
Thank you. Thank you. Same. I've got chills. It feels a little bit like a full circle moment.
It is. It is.
Awesome. Well, this is actually about you. So I would love for you to take me back. How did you become a nurse? What, has been your beautiful journey along the way?
Oh, wow. How did I become a nurse? My mom often introduced me as her daughter, Pam, who was born an adult.
Oh,
yes, exactly. And I think that caring nature came from that. And when I was in high school, I took health occupations 1 and 2 and decided with that experience that, yeah, I really did want to be a nurse. And I wanted to care for people. It was a calling for me. And as I got through school and experiences through school, I realized that I wanted to specifically work with moms and babies. And so that took me to my first job in San Antonio, Texas. My husband was in the Air Force there. And I worked in mother baby for several years, doing education, lactation support, working with the pediatricians and others caring for moms and babies in that small little hospital. And one night they asked me to help out in the progressive care nursery. And that changed my direct trajectory, I should say. I became a NICU nurse and stayed working in the neonatal intensive care area for, goodness, over 20 years, 25 years. And it was very fulfilling. Yeah. Started to get very tiring. But I stepped out, fear and all, and went back to graduate school and said, how can I use my skills a little differently? And so I became a clinical nurse specialist in the neonatal pediatric realm,
Beautiful.
and really like that because, you know, the people that have squirrel moments.
Mhm.
I'm that
Same,
squirrel.
all the time.
Squirrel. You know, I want to look over here. I want to do this. I want to do that. And as a clinical nurse specialist, you
Got to
can
do a little
dabble
of
in a lot
everything.
of things,
Yeah.
and you don't have to know everything,
Yeah.
but you have to know where you can get
100%. That's what I
that.
love about being an educator. Jack of
Yes,
all trades,
exactly.
master of none.
Yes, love it, love it. Um, so did that for goodness, many years,
Mhm.
and had to go to grow. I'm throwing out a
Mhm.
lot of those sayings.
Yes.
But had to leave a place that I had been for 21 years with this new identity of clinical nurse specialist. And we moved the family to Texas
Mm.
and had some wonderful experiences working there. Had great opportunities to share what I knew and also learn and grow as a nurse in simulation, specifically quality improvement.
Mhm.
And I think it was in that time and place
Mhm.
that I became a leader.
Mhm.
I became a mentor to others and also a coach. I just
Mhm.
didn't know I was a coach,
Yes.
right?
Same.
Uh, uh, but like everything else, it consumed me for
Mhm.
work, and it got very tiring, and to the point of, as you mentioned, I have that history of burnout.
Mhm.
I burned to a crisp. I bounced into that proverbial wall and realized that I couldn't do that anymore.
Mhm.
And that took me on another exploration of this journey. And it's where I found professional coaching was
Yeah.
where I could land.
Mhm.
It's going to be my new platform. And so from that came helping nurses over that wall, that
Mhm.
proverbial wall that we talked about, and to the possibilities.
Beautiful.
And it led me to opening my own business after becoming certified as a coach, doing nurse coaching and consulting with others to help nurses wherever they were and
Mhm.
whatever they were going to do.
Mhm. Mm.
That's where I am now.
I love it. And I know you've been doing this for many years now,
Yes.
and you've written a book and
Yes.
other projects in the works. And it's just, as I talked about before, just beautiful how amazing things can come out of really hard times, and that nursing has the flexibility of so many options too. And
Yes.
you can grow in different areas and realize that that's just not going to be the way you're going to continue to roll, and then you switch gears. And so it's pretty awesome. Coaching is an incredible specialty, even within nursing, but just in our society too. And so share with us maybe a little bit about your approach to coaching, because I just love your gentle spirit, and it's just like you're giving me a big hug all the time. You're just so
Oh,
supportive,
that's
and I
wonderful.
miss talking with you regularly. So, share with us a little bit about your approach with coaching and how you kind of work with others in that space.
Sure. I became certified as a coach through a beautiful organization, Coaching and Positive Psychology Institute
Mhm.
out of Atlanta.
Yeah.
And with this positive Pam that just kind of is who I am, I was able to find that space that really spoke to me. You
Mhm.
know, what am I here for? What do I have to offer? And instead of looking at all the things that are wrong or the shoulda, woulda, couldas
Mhm.
in life, um, this coaching perspective really focused on what you get to do,
Mhm.
who you are, and what you can do with that.
Yeah.
And so that applied positive psychology was right up my ballpark.
Mhm.
And um, with that, I also, while remaining positive and being an optimistic person, also got the knowledge and the experiences of being a realist in
Mm-hmm.
that. So you can look at the challenges, you can look at, um, when you fall down as opportunities
Right.
to grow. And so with that, I love helping nurses that are going through difficult times and struggles. I work with nurses and entrepreneurs on what they get to do next,
Mm-hmm.
because it's that co-creation with the
Yes.
client that really excites me and helps me move forward.
Yeah.
And so I try to bring that to every coaching session, whether it be individual or groups. I've been able and had the opportunity to work with the groups of nurses
Mm.
and work on their individual and their collective
Yes.
goals and plans and strategies and things
Yeah.
like that.
Fun, fun. And that's Valerie Burton's program, right?
Yes, it
Just love her.
is.
She's one of my favorite authors, and I got to meet her in person at an event, I think in 2020 or 2021. Anyways, and she reminds me of you actually with that same kind of like radiating positivity, but yet like practical. And for the minute encounter I was with her, I just felt like I was all that was there. She was 100% with me for just that couple of moments we meet and greet. And
Yeah.
she is just a wonderful program. And I really considered doing her coaching program when I learned about the nurse coaching program, and it was just a little bit more in alignment with what I wanted to specialize within nursing and coaching. But her program, just, hearing from you and then also reading her books and everything, I know it's just such a wonderful program.
Well, it was her beautiful face on one of the books
Yeah.
in an airport bookstore that really connected me with who she was and what
Mm.
she did. And that led me to going to her coaching.
Yeah. Yeah. And isn't that amazing that just one little chance encounter that you just happened to pick up her book and that really kind of changed your trajectory?
It certainly did.
That's
It
incredible.
certainly did.
Yeah.
I remember sitting on the porch at our little farm in North Carolina at the time, reading that book and answering the thought-provoking questions that she
Hmm.
would have at the end of her chapters. And it did open my eyes to the possibility that as a nurse, I can give back
Yeah.
to other nurses.
Mhm, mhm.
And that's why my platform changed from working at the bedside to working with individual and group nursing
Yeah,
groups.
and it's so needed, and it truly takes all of us doing this work
Yes,
because I know a lot of nurses and lots of nurse coaches that are doing work in this space, and man, we need more of us doing it. We need more of us connecting
absolutely.
because our clinicians, our nurses are hurting and they're leaving the
Mhm.
profession in droves, not just
Yeah,
a job. I mean, they're leaving nursing
yeah,
and I need somebody to take care of me
exactly.
as I age. And there's lots of reasons that we need nurses in the hospital. And so, I'm so grateful, for my connection with you and the work you're doing and, that we're all collectively trying to help our nurses and our clinicians get
Yes,
through their challenges and thrive and be able to figure out what works best for them.
absolutely. And we are all struggling with
Mhm.
things, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
What I've recognized with connecting with you and connecting with other nurses is that if we just open up to one another
Mhm.
and actively listen to one another,
Mhm.
we recognize that we're not alone.
Yeah.
You're a first time manager, you're a 10-year veteran of management, and you have the similar and same experiences.
Mhm.
So let's talk about it and
Mhm.
let's gather our forces together to help our profession.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of power in that.
Yeah.
It's really hard sometimes to open up and be vulnerable about what you're going through because I think especially as nurses, we're kind of conditioned to just put our own needs aside because it's literally our job to take care of other people.
Yes,
But sometimes we can't separate that with our own needs and taking care of ourselves and filling up ourselves. So as a profession, we tend to shove that stuff down and pretend like it doesn't matter or we're
yeah,
not having a struggle. And so it's really hard to initially kind of start talking about it. But then when you do, and then you realize that, okay, I'm not the only one struggling with this. Unfortunately, it's somewhat normal in our nursing society that many of us are struggling with these things, but we have an incredible opportunity now that we know about it to do something and to find the resources and support we need to help us move through.
absolutely. And I took what I called a sabbatical, SEA
Mm.
batical. I went
Mm.
to the ocean for those of you not familiar with North Carolina, went to the Outer Banks
Beautiful.
and took a lot of time to reflect,
Mhm.
think about what the good that was happening in 2023,
Yeah.
and then looking at what could be better,
Yeah.
right? Or how it could be better. And I wrote a couple of things down, and one of them was I'm a hopeful person.
Hmm.
And so I took the word hope and started thinking about how can I help others? And hope had to do with heart,
Yes.
and it's right about the heart of caring for your patients and your clients, but also yourself,
Totally.
And then, oh, guess what? Optimist Pam.
Yes.
But just having that positive attitude
Yeah.
because, it can spread just like negative attitudes.
Mhm.
Uh,
Totally.
and then P for power, what's going to energize you to do that? And E is the excellence that can happen because you took a couple of moments every day and focused on hope.
Yeah. Oh, that's
So
beautiful.
that was just an aside, but I truly believe it. It's part of strategy. It's what
Yeah.
gets us going. It gives us the will to go. And so we need to hold on to hope.
Yeah, agreed. Because sometimes you don't know how things will get better, like, especially if you're in a really dark place and it's very difficult to understand the logistical steps for how you're gonna get to feeling better, which feels so far
Right.
away sometimes. But when you can hold on to that little bit of hope, like, just for today, let me get through the day. Let me try and make things a tiny bit better today. And then that just continues to grow and grow and grow. And then you eventually find yourself through that crisis or that phase in your
Yes.
life, which was really difficult. And it's a beautiful place when you can finally get back and reflect and actually have gratitude for those hard
Yes.
times. It took me a few years to get there, definitely. But I can look back now and go, that was sucky. And I'm also super grateful for it because it got me to where I
Absolutely.
am now.
Absolutely. And you talk about gratitude
Mhm.
and the gratefulness that you have at the place that you are now. I have to remind myself of that all the time.
Yeah.
And so, yes, I am one of those people that has a gratitude jar.
Yeah.
And every week I put in there what I'm grateful for that week so that by the end of 2024, I can go back and go, wow, all these things I was grateful for. This is amazing.
Yes.
So, just that daily reminder, that weekly reminder, and then celebrate it as each year turns
Yeah.
around.
I love that. And have you always done that, or is that just a newer practice for you?
This is a new practice. The gratitude, not a new practice.
Yeah.
But the actual looking at it over the past year,
Yes.
I did. And first, new ritual.
Fun.
Again, um, just trying to open up myself to
Mhm.
whatever's possible because I have to walk the walk, right?
Yes, 100%. Yeah. I love the idea of that though, because taking that, and it doesn't have to be a practice that takes you a long time. Again, you're dropping one thing you're grateful for a weekend, right? But then
Mhm.
to be able to reflect back, that seems like it'd be super powerful to do that. So I love that.
Yeah, it's how we learn, you
Yeah.
know? We may not often think about what we learn in the moment, but when we can reflect back on it,
Hmm.
oh, wow,
Hmm.
I did that.
Yeah.
I'm capable of this, instead of the shoulda, woulda, couldas, it's the
Mhm.
I get, I will, I can.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, that speech is incredibly powerful. How you think and how you speak and how you can kind of reframe, because we all have those thoughts that are
Yeah,
maybe not so positive. But can you
guilty.
reframe? Yeah, me too. I mean, I have a name for her. I mean, she's awful sometimes in my head. But I think I'm consistently learning and growing. And it's like, okay, just because I had that thought doesn't mean I have to believe it or that I have to act on it. So just reframing it into a more positive statement, a more
Mhm.
like an affirmation or a thought, it's super helpful to, trying to shift it into that positive versus allowing that negativity to seep out.
Yeah. My coach has a phrase that she loves to use with me when that inner critic starts to work in
Uh-huh.
my brain. And she says, when those things come into your brain, into your mind, ask yourself this question: what is truer than that?
Mm, what
And
is
I
true
loved,
in that?
yeah. So it helps you to reframe.
Mm,
Well, maybe I'm not so bad at electronic
right.
medical record.
Yes.
I've gone from 2 hours to 1 hour charting, at the end of the shift, those kind of things. But it's important, and that's where
Mhm.
you learn.
Yeah,
That's where you grow.
those are great examples. Because sometimes we just immediately go to the negative, like it's an always all type of thing or never. And so when you can I like that's a more practical way to approach it because you're kind of trying to find okay, well, maybe I'm not nearly as bad as I thought I was and giving yourself a little bit of a kudos, a little bit of pump up.
Yes, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
good. That's good. Okay. So I'd love to hear, if maybe somebody's not quite to the point where they're ready to like jump in with a coach, but they are really struggling. What would be a couple tips or suggestions you might have for them to kind of start to figure out what might be next? What the simple little steps can they take through the day to try and make it a little bit better?
Yeah. Um, a lot of that for me comes from the experiences I've had with positive psychology.
Mm-hmm.
So the first thing is to set your intent for the day.
Mm,
You know, I'm going to, I'm working in a hospital. All right, I'm going to go in there and I'm going to do the best that I can for the time that I have
yeah.
with the patients and team members that I work with.
Mm-hmm.
You set that intention, then you start to think of how you can do that. So I'm going to go into report and I'm just going to stay open. I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to listen. Then I'll ask questions for clarity.
Yeah.
And then I love um, when you can stop, pause, seems to be
Mm-hmm.
a big buzzword now, but we know that from our backgrounds.
Yeah.
Um, and just think of what's one thing I can do today while
Mm-hmm.
I'm at work that will make a difference in the
Yeah.
lives of others
Right.
and myself. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then a dear, dear friend added this when I asked her, how does she do it every day?
Yeah.
Right. And she just says, when I walk out of my office, I turn the light out and I close the door. And that's where the stuff
I love
stays
that.
and I go home
Yeah.
because work is just a little piece of your life.
Mhm.
Everything else in your life is just as important.
Agreed.
Think that that's been a hard thing for us as nurses
For
to do.
sure. For sure. And I think I know, especially when I was in a leadership role, it felt like that never got turned off. That door was never closed. That light was never turned off. And I definitely stay connected with a lot of nurse leaders that really struggle with that. and
Yeah.
put up those boundaries and stuff. But I love the visualness of that. And I've tried to kind of teach some of our staff nurses that I'm working with, as you're walking out the back door of the hospital and you're heading to the parking lot, kind of imagine this like wall behind you and
Yeah.
allowing work to stay at work, because
Mhm.
those emotions, those thoughts, those feelings, the woulda, coulda, shouldas, those often stay with us,
Yeah.
even if we're not getting calls in the middle of the night or worried about staffing and things like that.
Yes.
The experiences we had and the decisions we made and the things we wish we would have done differently, like those stick with us mentally and emotionally. So how can you allow those to be
Mhm.
released as you're walking out of your shift, and so you can go home and be present with your family or sleep better or whatever
Yeah.
it is you need to do, but trying to find what works for you
Mhm.
to be able to leave work at work.
I tell you, humor is something that I use
Mhm.
in my life to kind of upset the apple cart, if you will.
Yeah.
And so one of the fun things that I used to speak to for leaders and even other clinicians, maybe
Mhm.
not even nurses, depending on what the audience was. And it's like, you know how everybody uses their GPS to get to different
Mhm.
places.
Mhm.
And when you don't follow the GPS, it tells you to make a
Yes.
U-turn, turn left at the next intersection. Just a way to get out some of the frustrations of work
Yeah.
is to tell your GPS, whatever voice or whatever dialect you use, no, I'm not going to turn right. I'm going to go my own way. I know how to get to my house. And, it gives you power
Yeah.
through humor
Yeah.
to get you away from work and to your home.
Yes.
You take control.
I love it. Because we can only control ourselves, really. We
Yeah,
can't even control the dang GPS.
I know.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I love that. Thank you for those couple little tips. I think that's super helpful for people just to kind of get a feel of like, where am I? What is, one small thing, intention I can set, one small thing I can control today, take for the better, and
Mhm,
that way, because sometimes it feels so overwhelming when you're on this journey and like you want to do so much, but it's too much. And so just
mhm,
narrowing that down.
mhm. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Just one step at a time, one
Yeah.
moment at a time.
Yeah. Oh, beautiful. Well, in our last 2 minutes, Pam, I just want to see, is there anything else in your heart that you want to share? Any messages or suggestions, any words of wisdom that are there for you today?
Oh, thank you. Words of wisdom. Um, I really think that in my 62 years of life now, I have discovered that you are different in different times of your life.
Mm-hmm.
And what nursing has brought for me is the opportunity to work in different ways with patients, with leaders, with clinicians, with nurses that want not only just a career change, but a whole change in what they do as a nurse.
Yeah.
Um, it's all possible.
Yeah.
And there's another saying out there: fear it and do it anyway, because
Yes.
that's how you get yourself moving forward. And I'm looking forward to 2024. I just opened a new company called Discovering You Coaching.
Hey.
You talked about that focusing
Yeah.
in the years I have left in the profession of nursing, and being a 62-year-old woman with lots of experiences. I started Discovering You Coaching,
Yeah.
and I'm working with my daughter-in-law, who's an illustrator, on a journal that will be printed next year called Discovering You Again.
I love that.
So that continued
Yeah.
joyful journey, Jen,
Yes.
that I first wrote about, and just I want to do all that I can to help nurses and not that I don't have men clients, but I'm really focused in this time of my life
Yeah.
in helping the women.
Beautiful. Lovely. Oh, Pam, it's been so good to chat with you today. Where can people find you?
Well, they can find me. My email is pam@discoveringyoucoaching.net. And I was putting the final pieces to my website, the new website, just today. So it will be
Yay.
launching tomorrow,
Awesome.
Discovering You Coaching.
Perfect. Oh, thank you. I really appreciate your time, and it's been beautiful to connect with you in this space.
Oh,
Like I said, it feels like a little bit of a full circle moment. I'm
I
so
know.
far
It
along from where
hugs.
I was when we first started working together. So
Yes.
it's lovely.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Don't know why I took that picture. I just felt it needed to be
Oh,
taken of you and me. And I
mhm,
know you've shared that on your
mhm.
journey. And this really is a full circle moment. Way to
Yeah.
go. Way to
Thanks.
go.
Feels good. I appreciate you've always been a cheerleader for me. Awesome. Well, thanks everybody. We'll catch you next time.
Bye.
Bye.